what's up with y'all centers, B? Y'all just pitching tents and having a whole picnic in the paint, trying to play no defense or help anybody on screens. I don't know what's going on with your centers out there. And 2K accommodates these centers by not allowing finishers to really make use of the teardropper badge. Hey, what's up YouTube? You already know it's AllCity Live TV, and thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about finishing badges for dummies. Listen, I don't mean that as an insult. What I mean is that badges seem to be somewhat of an enigma on NBA 2K20, and what I mean by that is that it takes a ton of trial and error, so you should approach these badges from a test dummy perspective. But fortunately enough for you guys, I've put in a ton of work and effort into understanding how badges work on NBA 2K20, and today we're going to be reviewing the finishing badges that should work best for you guys, man. So we're going to get right into these finishing badges and go through each one and tell you guys which badge will work best for you. Let's get right into it. Alright guys, so as you can see, I have a ton of badges to choose from on NBA 2K20. My finishing is pretty much gold. I got a slashing playmaker out there. I made this player to particularly shoot. This is what I made this player for, primarily shooting, but I have a ton of badges being that I hit legend. Now I don't want this to discourage you in any way. We're gonna go through each badge setup because I remember clearly my gameplay before I was legend. I've approached NBA 2K20 from like a student perspective, so I was always out there from an analytical standpoint, just watching how badges work. And fortunate enough for me and fortunate enough for you guys, we have a great community on Discord, open and willing to share as much information as possible. So I was able to gather a ton of information on my road to legend, and now I'm able to bring to you guys which badges I think still work on NBA 2K20. So we're gonna go through the finishing badges first, and Acrobat is the first badge on the list, and I want to tell you guys that Acrobat is a great badge to have. If you want to switch up your finishing, if you want to really put your finishing to the test, then Acrobat is one of those badges that you must equip. It helps with your reverse layups, which are tremendous out there. I take full advantage of my reverse animations. If you played with me or seen me on live stream, you know how much I go to the reverse animation, and Acrobat helps with your hop steps as well. If we just go into the description here, it works on spin, half spins, hop steps, euro steps, cradle, reverse, and change shot attempt receive a significant boost. So this is what we got to understand, the dynamics with the Acrobat badge and how much Acrobat will help your player finish in the paint. Now a lot of players feel that Acrobat actually forces you into more layup animations, and from my trial and error I can say that there is some substance to that statement. You do seem to go into more layup animations, but I'm all about finishing, completion rate. I want to finish in the paint. I don't necessarily need to go into a dunk, so whether 2 points is 2 points to me, whether I'm dunking or I'm going into a layup, I just want to make sure I finish that layup. I can say from my experience with Acrobat, on a build like a finisher or a paint beast, I don't necessarily want my Acrobat put up all the way, because with a build like that, I'm really trying to bang out there and dunk the rock. But with a slashing playmaker build at 6'5", built to shoot, I want my player to finish in the paint more consistently, and Acrobat can help me do that. Whether it's a layup or a dunk animation, Acrobat will help me finish out there. So that's what I like about Acrobat. So that badge still works. I really like the Acrobat badge, but as you can see, I got a ton of gold badges here. Back down Punisher. That's definitely a badge that still works. My only complaint about Back Down Punisher is that the badge, if it's not accompanied by a ton of other badges out there, like let's say an Interior Force is using Back Down Punisher, then I'd say Back Down Punisher is super goated, because an Interior Force could fade out and use a post hook or something like that. They have a good amount of shooting badges that help accommodate a badge like the Back Down Punisher. But if you think that you're a player out there that's just gonna back down your opponent. Now, if you're just playing one-on-ones, that's understandable how you may want the back down Punisher badge. But if you're not playing one-on-one, then you're going to get spammed out there. So the animation takes too long. It's too long to back down an opponent and really work out there. Unless you're taking full advantage of those post hooks and those fades with accommodating badges, the back down Punisher I don't necessarily recommend. Let's move on, man, because I don't want to spend too much of your time on these badges. I really just want to tell you guys, this is really about finishing badges for dummies. I put the work in. I was the test dummy so that you guys don't have to be a dummy selecting your badges. Next badge on the list is Consistent Finisher. Now, you see I got this badge on gold. Now, the pro set from Pacers Gaming, I got this. They don't necessarily like the Consistent Finisher badge, and that might very well vary between pro players, but Consistent Finisher is a badge that I have up. Again, I'm really looking for a percentage increase. Like, I want to make sure my completion in the paint is at a high rate, so I got Consistent Finisher on to help me out when I'm trying to drive into the paint. I really like the Consistent Finisher badge. Contact Finisher goes without saying. It's one of your first go-to badges when you're trying to build up your finishing badges, so I really like Contact Finisher. Cross Key Scorer, although I don't have it equipped, it doesn't meet my playstyle. You want to look at this badge whenever you're moving across the key. You're going to activate a badge like Cross Key Scorer for animations like running hooks and things of that nature, but you don't see too many people activate or utilize the running hook, so I don't necessarily equip the Cross Key Scorer. The same with Deep Hooks. Deep Hooks is a goated badge for the right player. So if you're now out there utilizing the post hook animation, which is extremely dominant in NBA 2K20, then you should not equip Deep Hooks. It's for those people that are cheesers out there and they're utilizing that post hook, so Deep Hooks really comes in handy out there. Drop Stepper, another badge that I really like. When you equip this badge at a high level, you really see the difference in your drop step animation, whether you're drop stepping to the on-ball side or you're drop stepping on the opposite side. It really works out effectively. I like the drop stepper badge, but again, that's accompanied with the back down Punisher badge, so I don't think it's necessarily a badge that you could just utilize by itself and think you're going to be super goated out there. You need to mix and match your moves with back down Punisher or post spin technician, and then drop stepper becomes super goated out there. Fancy Footwork, a badge that's been up and down. When I mean up and down, it's been going like 1 week is super goated and the next week you don't really get the stun animations. A lot of people have this misconception that it changes your hop step into the paint. It does not change your hop step. All the badge does is stun the defender that's in front of you, which is great. You want that stun animation. It's like tight handles for finishing. One of the people who came into our live stream had actually made that analogy, saying that Fancy Footwork is like tight handles for finishers because of the stun animation you get when you activate a hop step going into the paint. So I really like that about Fancy Footwork. Fast Break Finisher is a good badge to have. I don't necessarily have it equipped. I'm playing majority of Park right now and Rec, so I don't necessarily use Fast Break Finisher. But if I do want to rep up out there, if I am looking for, some additional rep and I want to make sure that I get all the bonuses that I can, I may consider a badge like Fast Break Finisher. Giant Slayer, a badge that I use at 6'5". Outside of 6'5", I don't think that I think even 6'5" is pushing it. But outside of 6'5", I probably would not, any taller than 6'5", I probably would not equip the Giant Slayer badge. If you guys are curious, you need to have a 3-inch differential between yourself trying to finish in the paint and the defender who's trying to contest you in the paint. If there's not a 3-inch differential there, then you're not getting the full benefits of the Giant Slayer badge. So at 6'5", you're already pushing it. I'm considering if I'm going up on a center, and centers are getting smaller and smaller, which renders the Giant Slayer badge less and less effective. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about equipping Giant Slayer. Now, AllCity Finisher. a badge that I've been reluctant to equip all year. But with the most recent patch, I should say, because I didn't have to equip it and I would complete my alley-oops at maybe a 95% rate. But after the last patch, I gotta tell you, it's been really goofy out there with lobs. For some reason, 2K got word that everybody's utilizing lobs to gain so much rep, and they're taking full advantage of the animation that offers the most rep out there. And I don't understand why 2K finds it in themselves to kind of limit people from gaining rep. If you find, and I don't want to label it an exploit per se, but if you find something that works properly to allow you a certain amount of rep, then you're gonna want to try to accomplish that as much as possible if your goal is to gain as much rep. So that's what people have been doing. People have been throwing a ton of lobs that are trying to rep up quickly. Unfortunately, 2K goes against that, and now lobs are goofier than ever. I'm talking about, it just seems a little more difficult out there to finish and accomplish lobs out there. For some reason, if you guys feel differently, please let me know. But I've seen a lot of goofiness out there just trying to throw a regular lob, and the dude is my teammate is right there, but for some strange reason, he just will not catch the rock or even go up into the dunk animation. Instead, he'll flail his arms out as if a defender was just really contesting him when there was really no contest there at all. So that's what I noticed about AllCity Finisher. We're gonna move on to Pick and Roller, a badge that I like for my finisher and my paint piece. If you're somebody that's out there setting screens, then you want the Pick and Roller badge. You get this great animation and somewhat of a speed boost after you set the screen. So that's what I noticed about Pick and Roller. Outside of that, if you don't equip the badge, you're gonna set the screen and go into this really slow, sluggish animation to try to make your way toward the basket outside, after you set a screen. So that's what I like about Pick and Roller, a badge that you guys may want to consider equipping if you're setting screens out there and trying to run the pick and roll out there. You might want to consider Pick and Roller. Pro Touch, a badge that's made for post scorers, post hooks, things of that nature. Pro Touch will come in handy, but not a badge that you can use by itself. You need badges like the Deep Hooks badge. You need badges like Quick Draw, put up really high, and then you get the full benefits of the Pro Touch badge. But by itself, if you're just a guard out there trying to complete layups, I don't necessarily recommend Pro Touch. In the beginning of the year, I highly recommended Pro Touch and Consistent Finisher because I was working with my two-way slashing playmaker and he was not finishing layups. I think that was more so due to 2K's mechanics, because now my players are finishing a lot better in the paint. As of now, I don't necessarily recommend Pro Touch. I would go with Consistent Finisher over Pro Touch. But if it's for the right player, if you have a post scorer out there, you may want to consider the Pro Touch badge because it's goated for you guys. Next badge on the list is Putback Boss. I've gone back and forth with the Putback Boss. Don't know if it's absolutely necessary. Looking to see if I equip it at a higher level on some of my builds that get Hall of Fame finishing, and I don't really see a noticeable difference when you equip a badge, when you don't have nothing equipped and then you go and equip it. Shouldn't you guys see, when you go equip it at a high level, shouldn't you see an extremely noticeable difference? So for instance, if I grab a board and I don't have Putback Boss and I try to go back up, I should be slow without the badge. If I activate the same animation with the badge equipped on Hall of Fame, I should immediately notice the benefits of having the badge equipped at a high level. That should be common sense, but unfortunately 2K doesn't operate from a common sense perspective, and Putback Boss is rendered useless more times than not. It doesn't seem to activate as it should or work properly. That's my opinion on Putback Boss. If you guys are out there with a different opinion, please let me know in the comment section below. Relentless Finisher, another badge that I forgot who it was. I know it was one of the homies. He's pretty cool with us. I just can't remember his YouTube channel name, but he dropped a great video on Relentless Finisher. And people wondering that, again, there's a misconception with Relentless Finisher. It constantly activates almost every time you drive into the paint, and it activates the second that you hit the box button to drive in the paint, or you use your right analog stick to commit to that drive animation. So the second that that badge activates, you tend to think that it's activating per animation, so that is saving your stamina per animation. But what we realize from the homie's video is that it actually activates because it's taking effect for your full stamina bar, and as it dwindles down slowly as you progress in the game. And it's not like you're not getting benefits for each individual animation. Although when you do have Relentless Finisher on and equipped, you feel like you do finish a lot better out there. I don't know, it's something strange about it. Back and forth all year as well, but right now I say it's a go. After the last patch, I say Relentless Finisher is definitely a go, and you may want to equip that. Showtime, a badge that I don't even care to discuss too much. I tried, it's supposed to give you additional takeover when you commit to a highlight play or something like that. But Showtime doesn't give you enough of a boost to your takeover bar. So I'm like, why do I equip this for a tiny boost? For that, I'll target or redirect my focus toward creating plays that really actually boost my meter, as opposed to a badge that gives you some tiny little bit of unnoticeable boost. Slithery Finisher, the most goated badge probably in NBA 2K20 all year. It was able to withstand every single patch. Slithery Finisher still operates the same way it did from the beginning of the game. One of your go-to badges when you're starting up, when you're starting to equip finishing badges, Slithery Finisher along with Contact Finisher is probably those two first badges that you want to put your focus on. Teardropper, one of the best badges prior to NBA 2K20. I used to love activating teardrop animations, but for some reason NBA 2K20 says, nah, we're not gonna let you hit any teardrops. So how do we you limit our game? Because teardrops are great. I would love to fake out the defense, and as I'm coming down the middle and there's a center that just camps dead in the paint. What's up with y'all centers, B? Y'all just pitching tents and having a whole picnic in the paint, trying to play no defense or help anybody on screens. I don't know what's going on with your centers out there. And 2K accommodates these centers by not allowing finishers to really make use of the teardropper badge, because in prior versions of 2K, when a center was camped out in the paint, I would activate my teardrop animation and it'll force the center on the next play to have to push up a little bit because he doesn't know if I'm gonna drive or take advantage of the teardropper badge. Unfortunately, this year the teardropper badge is not as effective as it used to be in previous versions of NBA 2K20. If you guys got a different opinion, please let me know in the comment section below. These are my thoughts on the finishing badges in NBA 2K20, and this video was finishing badges for dummies. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to our channel, because we're gonna have a ton of not only NBA 2K20 content, but we're also gonna have a ton of NBA 2K21 content. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.